Success is often misunderstood. People search for shortcuts, hidden formulas, overnight miracles, and external advantages, believing that success is something mysterious or reserved for a select few. But success is not hidden. It is not complicated. It is not accidental. Success is the natural outcome of one simple discipline practiced repeatedly: consistency. Consistency is doing what you said you would do long after the excitement has faded. It is showing up when no one is watching, working when there is no applause, and remaining committed when results are delayed. Most people do not fail because they lack talent, intelligence, or opportunity. They fail because they abandon the process too early. They quit when consistency becomes uncomfortable. The problem is not that people do not start. The problem is that they do not continue. Starting requires inspiration, but continuing requires discipline. Anyone can be motivated for a day, a week, or a month. But consistency demands alignment between vision and daily behavior. It requires you to live today according to the future you claim you want. Success is not built in moments of intensity. It is built in moments of repetition. What you do occasionally will never compete with what you do consistently. A small action repeated daily will outperform a powerful action performed rarely. Consistency compounds. It builds strength quietly. It produces results gradually, then suddenly. Consistency also reveals character. It exposes whether your goals are genuine or just emotional impulses. When challenges arise, and their will, consistency determines whether you adapt or retreat. Those who succeed are not immune to obstacles. They are simply unwilling to stop. Many people wait to feel ready, confident, or inspired before acting. But consistency does not wait for feelings, it creates them. Confidence is not the cause of consistency. Consistency is the cause of confidence. Mastery is not a gift, it is the reward for faithful repetition. Every disciplined action you repeat becomes a part of your identity. Eventually, success stops being something you chase and starts being something you express. When consistency becomes your nature, success becomes inevitable. If you want different results, do not look for a different strategy. Look for a deeper commitment. Stay faithful to the process. Honor the routine. Respect the journey. Because in the end, success does not respond to talent alone, it responds to consistency. Consistency aligns actions with vision, because vision without disciplined behavior is powerless. Many people claim to have a vision for their lives, their careers, or their purpose. Yet their daily actions contradict what they say they want. Vision speaks of the future, but consistency speaks in the present. What you repeatedly do today is the true evidence of what you believe about tomorrow. A vision that is not supported by consistent action becomes nothing more than a wish. And wishes do not produce results. Vision defines direction, but consistency provides movement. Without consistency, vision remains abstract, something you admire rather than something you pursue. It is easy to speak passionately about goals when there is no cost attached. But consistency introduces cost. It demands time, energy, discipline, and sacrifice. This is where many people disconnect. They want the outcome of the vision without committing to the behavior that brings it to life. Alignment happens when your daily habits begin to reflect the future you claim to desire. Consistency also protects vision from distraction. The world constantly offers alternatives, shortcuts, and comparisons that dilute focus. When actions are inconsistent, vision becomes vulnerable to external influence. You start adjusting your goals based on trends, opinions, or temporary emotion. Consistent behavior, however, creates internal stability. It anchors you to your purpose even when circumstances shift. When your actions are repeated with intention, they reinforce clarity and reduce confusion. Alignment between action and vision is not dramatic, it is quiet. It happens in routines that seem ordinary but carry extraordinary power. Waking up when it is uncomfortable, practicing when progress feels slow, studying when results are not immediate. These actions do not attract attention, but they build alignment. Over time, the gap between who you are and who you want to become begins to close. Not because of sudden change, but because of faithful repetition. Consistency also exposes the seriousness of vision. If actions change every time pressure increases, then the vision was not a priority, it was a preference. True vision survives resistance. It does not collapse under inconvenience. When actions remain steady despite discomfort, vision gains credibility. You begin to trust yourself. Self-trust is critical because success is built for internal confidence long before it is visible externally. When actions align consistently with vision, decision-making becomes simpler. You no longer debate whether to act. Your habits have already decided for you. Consistency removes emotional negotiation. Instead of asking how you feel, you act according to who you are becoming. This alignment eliminates internal conflict and replaces it with momentum. Energy is no longer wasted on hesitation, and progress becomes natural. Consistency also trains patience. Vision often promises a future that feels distant, but consistent action teaches you to respect timing. You stop rushing the process and start honoring it. This patience strengthens character and prevents burnout. People who abandon vision often do so because they expect immediate results. Consistency corrects this expectation by reminding you that growth is gradual but permanent. Ultimately, when actions and vision are aligned through consistency, success stops being forced. It becomes the logical outcome of daily obedience to purpose. The future you see begins to show up in the present through your behavior. Your life starts to move in one direction instead of many. And when direction and discipline meet, progress is inevitable. Discipline outlasts motivation because motivation is fleeting while discipline is enduring. Motivation is a spark, an emotional surge that gives energy for a short period. It can inspire action for a day, a week, or even a month, but it is unreliable. Motivation depends on circumstances, feelings, and external triggers. It disappears when fatigue sets in, when challenges appear, or when results are delayed. Discipline, on the other hand, does not rely on feelings. It operates independently of mood, environment, or temporary excitement. Discipline is the bridge that carries you from where you are to where you want to be, even when motivation is absent. People often overestimate the role of motivation in achieving success. They believe that feeling inspired is enough to reach goals, but feelings alone do not produce results. Motivation may start the journey, but it cannot sustain it. Motivation is like fuel in a car. It is necessary to begin, but the engine will not run on fuel alone. Discipline is the engine itself. It keeps movement steady, consistent, and dependable. Those who rely solely on motivation will inevitably stop when the spark fades. Those who cultivate discipline will continue forward regardless of how they feel. Discipline creates reliability. It allows you to show up every day, perform the necessary tasks, and maintain focus even when circumstances are unfavorable. While motivation fluctuates based on excitement or emotional highs, discipline ensures that your actions remain aligned with your goals. It transforms potential into results because it does not wait for perfect conditions. Discipline is not selective. It applies to every moment, every challenge, and every opportunity. Motivation may tempt you with bursts of energy, but discipline guarantees progress. Another reason discipline outlasts motivation is that it builds habits. Habits are the foundation of achievement, and they are formed through consistent discipline, not temporary enthusiasm. When you act disciplined long enough, the actions become automatic. You no longer rely on motivation to do the right thing. It becomes natural. This is why the most successful people are often those who can endure when inspiration fades. They have trained themselves to act regardless of external or internal circumstances. They have mastered the art of obedience to purpose over feelings. Discipline also develops resilience. Motivation disappears when obstacles arise, when fatigue hits, or when results are delayed. Discipline remains. It teaches you to persevere when challenges threaten to halt progress. Discipline prevents you from quitting because it establishes a framework of responsibility and commitment. When discipline is strong, setbacks are temporary, and obstacles become opportunities for growth. Motivation may spark action, but discipline sustains it through adversity. Furthermore, discipline strengthens character. Motivation is a reaction. It is emotional and temporary. Discipline is a choice, a decision to act in alignment with long-term goals regardless of immediate comfort or pleasure. The consistent exercise of discipline shapes identity. When you repeatedly choose action over inaction, focus over distraction, and persistence over surrender, you develop the qualities necessary for lasting success. Character is not built in moments of excitement. It is built in moments of commitment that outlast motivation. Discipline outlasts motivation because it transforms vision into reality. Vision alone is useless without action, and motivation alone is unreliable. Discipline ensures that actions continue even when feelings waver. It bridges the gap between intention and outcome. While motivation may introduce you to the path of success, discipline walks every step with you unshaken and unwavering. Those who rely on discipline achieve what others only dream of, not because they are luckier, smarter, or more talented, but because they have committed to a standard of action that does not depend on temporary inspiration. Discipline endures, motivation fades. Success favors those who persist beyond the fleeting spark and embrace the lasting power of discipline. Repetition creates mastery because mastery is not achieved through sporadic effort or occasional brilliance. It is forged through the disciplined return to practice day after day. Talent or natural ability may provide a head start, but without repetition, even the most gifted individual will remain average. Mastery is not an event. It is a process. It is the cumulative effect of countless small actions performed with precision, intention, and persistence over time. Each repetition is a building block, and as these blocks accumulate, skill deepens, understanding grows, and excellence emerges. Repetition trains the mind and body to function at higher levels automatically. At first, tasks may feel awkward or challenging. Mistakes will happen. Frustration may arise, and progress may seem slow. But each repetition refines technique, strengthens memory, and increases efficiency. What once required conscious effort eventually becomes instinctive. The mind and body learn through experience, not theory. Repetition is the teacher that never tires, the method that never fails, and the force that transforms potential into ability. Mastery is not gifted. It is earned one deliberate action at a time. Repetition also creates confidence. When skills are practiced repeatedly, uncertainty diminishes and performance becomes predictable. Confidence does not arise from hope or optimism. It arises from knowing you have prepared. Athletes, musicians, writers, and leaders all demonstrate this principle. Their excellence is the product of repeated, focused practice. Confidence is a byproduct of repetition. It grows silently in the background, unnoticed by the untrained eye until the moment of performance, where preparation meets opportunity and mastery is revealed. Repetition sharpens attention to detail. When an action is performed repeatedly, the mind begins to notice subtle patterns, nuances, and areas for improvement that are invisible to those who act inconsistently. Each repetition is an opportunity to refine, correct, and optimize. Mastery is achieved not by doing more, but by doing better. The repeated process forces awareness, precision, and accountability. Over time, these small adjustments compound, creating a level of skill that appears effortless to observers, though it is the product of deliberate, repeated effort. Repetition also develops resilience. The act of returning to practice after failure or difficulty teaches patience, humility, and persistence. Mastery cannot exist without overcoming obstacles, and repetition is the vehicle for doing so. Every mistake corrected, every challenge faced, and every skill repeated reinforces the capacity to endure. The process of repetition trains not only ability but also character. It cultivates a mindset that values growth over instant gratification, effort over ease, and progress over perfection. Mastery is as much mental as it is physical. Repetition solidifies both. Repetition compounds results over time. A single effort may create a small outcome, but consistent repetition multiplies impact exponentially. Skills, knowledge, and understanding grow quietly until they reach a tipping point where performance becomes extraordinary. This compounding effect is why mastery often appears sudden to outsiders. It is the invisible accumulation of countless repetitions. Success in any field is rarely instant. It is the natural result of continuous practice, refinement, and unwavering commitment. Ultimately, repetition creates mastery because it turns potential into reality. It bridges the gap between what is imagined and what is achievable. Without repetition, ideas remain ideas, plans remain plans, and talent remains dormant. With repetition, action becomes skill. Skill becomes competence, and competence becomes mastery. Mastery is not a gift. It is the inevitable outcome of showing up, performing, correcting, and performing again. Excellence is the harvest of consistent, focused effort repeated until the process itself becomes second nature. Repetition is the secret, the method, and the path to greatness. Small daily actions produce large results because greatness is rarely achieved in a single moment of intensity. It is the accumulation of consistent, deliberate effort over time that creates outcomes that seem extraordinary to those who only see the end result. Many people wait for big opportunities, dramatic breakthroughs, or sudden inspiration, but the truth is that monumental achievements are built on small, steady actions repeated day after day. Each action may seem insignificant in isolation, but collectively they shape destiny, transform habits, and ultimately determine success. The power of small daily actions lies in their ability to compound. Just as small deposits in a bank account grow into wealth over time, small actions compound to create skill, influence, and progress. Reading a few pages each day leads to profound knowledge over months and years. Writing a paragraph daily can produce an entire book. Exercising for a few minutes consistently strengthens the body far beyond what sporadic intensity can achieve. The visible impact of small actions is delayed, which is why so many underestimate them, yet they are the engine behind all lasting success. Small actions also create momentum. Action, no matter how minor, generates energy and focus. When you take one small step consistently, it signals your mind and body that you are committed to progress. Each completed action, however small, reinforces discipline, strengthens habit, and reduces the resistance to future actions. Momentum is built not in grand gestures, but in repetition. When momentum is established, even the largest challenges feel manageable because the process has been internalized through consistent practice. Furthermore, small daily actions shape character and mindset. Success is not only about results, it is also about the person you become through consistent effort. By committing to small actions regularly, you develop patience, resilience, and integrity. You learn to honor your word to yourself, to persist even when results are not immediate, and to value progress over perfection. This internal growth becomes the foundation for handling larger responsibilities, making better decisions, and achieving greater outcomes. The discipline cultivated in small things scales to influence every area of life. Small actions also minimize overwhelm and procrastination. Large goals can feel intimidating, causing delay or avoidance. By breaking goals into daily, manageable steps, you make progress inevitable. Each small action is a building block that over time constructs a framework of achievement. The key is consistency. Isolated actions have limited effect, but repeated faithfully, they transform vision into reality. What appears impossible in the short term becomes achievable when approached incrementally. Another profound aspect is that small actions create visible evidence of commitment. They demonstrate that success is not a matter of luck or sudden opportunity, but of faithful execution. When others observe the results of small actions compounded over time, the transformation appears miraculous, yet it is simply the natural outcome of dedication. Success is predictable for those who honor the process daily, even when results are delayed. The extraordinary is achieved not through intensity alone, but through the relentless accumulation of small, purposeful acts. Ultimately, small daily actions produce large results because life responds to consistency and persistence. The choices you make each day define who you are and what you will become. Greatness is rarely a leap. It is a series of small steps taken with intention, repeated until mastery is achieved. The path to success is not found in dramatic moments, but in the quiet, disciplined actions that most people overlook. By committing to small daily efforts, you harness the power of compounding, build momentum, strengthen character, and gradually achieve results that are far greater than the sum of their parts. Small actions, faithfully applied, are the true catalyst for extraordinary outcomes. Consistency transforms identity because who we become is a direct reflection of what we repeatedly do. Identity is not shaped by intention alone, by desires, or by fleeting inspiration. It is formed in the patterns of behavior that define our daily life. Every choice, every action, every habit contributes to the person we present, to the world, and more importantly, to the person we are internally. When actions are consistent, they leave an indelible mark on character. Over time, the repetition of disciplined choices molds not just skill or circumstance, but the very essence of who we are. At first, consistent action may feel external, as though it is something we are forcing ourselves to do. Waking up early, dedicating time to study, exercising daily, or practicing a craft may seem mechanical, even exhausting. Yet as these behaviors are repeated, they become ingrained. The mind begins to adopt them as natural, and identity gradually aligns with action. What was once a conscious effort becomes instinctive. The person you are is no longer defined by aspirations alone, but by the reality of your habits. Consistency bridges the gap between who you think you are and who you actually become. Consistency also eliminates internal conflict. Many people struggle with who they are versus who they want to be. They say one thing, hope for another, and act in a way that contradicts their vision. This creates tension, self-doubt, and indecision. But when behavior is consistent, identity clarifies. Daily actions send a message to the mind, this is who I am. Repetition removes ambiguity. Your identity becomes predictable, stable, and aligned with purpose. Others may notice the change externally, but the true transformation occurs within, in the quiet reinforcement of self-belief and commitment. Another crucial way consistency transforms identities by fostering resilience and self-trust. When actions are performed faithfully, even in the absence of immediate results, you learn that your success is not dependent on circumstance, luck, or emotion. It is dependent on you. This builds confidence and strengthens character. The consistent person trusts their own capacity to act, to endure, and to grow. Identity shifts from being reactive to being proactive, from being defined by external conditions to being defined by internal standards. Consistency also shapes how the world perceives you. People are drawn to reliability, to those whose actions match their words. Over time, consistent behavior communicates authority, integrity, and commitment. This external recognition reinforces internal identity. When your behavior repeatedly aligns with your values and goals, your reputation and self-concept converge. Identity is no longer aspirational or conditional, it becomes factual. You do not have to convince yourself or others of your character. It is proven through repetition. The transformation through consistency extends beyond habits to mindset. Repeated action builds patience, discipline, and persistence. You learn to value process over immediate gratification and long-term growth over temporary comfort. These qualities become part of your identity. Who you are is no longer a matter of circumstance or fleeting emotion. It is a matter of deliberate design. You are the sum of what you do daily, and by choosing to act consistently, you shape the person you are becoming. Ultimately, consistency transforms identity because identity is not a declaration but a practice. What you do every day defines you more than what you say, what you dream, or what you intend. Small actions repeated faithfully become habits. Habits repeated faithfully become character. Character repeated faithfully becomes destiny. By embracing consistency, you take control of who you are at your core, creating a self that is aligned with your vision, capable of achieving your goals, and resilient in the face of adversity. The transformation is gradual but unstoppable. Consistency does not merely change results, it changes the very person achieving them.